Hey guys, I'm Christopher Gadget Review. We are in Carlsbad, California. Check out Kia's all-new 2015 K900. We're going to tell you more about it right now. So this is, really the third day we've had the K900. K9 was the name of it in South Korea. This car, you're getting a lot for your money. You've got a V8 putting out 420 horsepower, mated to a 8-speed gearbox. It does the job, it's smooth, it's powerful. And with that, you've got 3 driving modes. You've got normal, sport, and eco. Sport just remaps the throttle and the transmission. Eco, I think, reduces all of that, and normal somewhere in between. I don't think there's any dampening, though, from my understanding of the suspension, so that remains the same. It's still enjoyable to drive. It's comfortable. It's not fun to drive. It's comfortable to drive. It's relatively easy to drive, and like I said, through the corners, it's got a fair bit of body roll. But for anybody that's looking to get in this car, that type of person's not going to care about that too much. For the money, you're also getting a 12.3 driver's screen. You hit the driving mode button, you go into sport, that changes. It goes just to miles per hour in RPMs. The 9.2 is for the infotainment system. It's got a rear view camera, plus it's got 360 cameras so you can see all around the car. It's got front cameras so you can see from the left to the right if there's a car coming. There's also blind spot monitoring. And I'm never a big fan of that, but I was driving down the 10 freeway the other night and a Porsche Panamera came up behind me about 110 miles per hour on my right side, and it warned me well before he had approached me. And it wasn't so much just the blind spot, but it was warning me that it was going to be in my blind spot. And I was actually fairly well impressed. What I'm not impressed by is the voice recognition. Whatever we've done and everything I've tried, I cannot get my address or anybody else's address to go from my voice into the nav. So everything you have to do there is manually, but there is their UVO app, and I've got that on my Nexus 5, and the functionality I believe is a little bit reduced, but you can push your destination from your phone to the car, provided you've registered it. We've got a giant back seat. Those seats recline. It's also got dual zone, heated and AC just as much as there is up here. You've got heated and cool seats up here, but most importantly, you've got a ton of legroom. This seat will go so far back, I can't reach the steering wheel, which says a lot. In the position I have it now, somebody could easily sit behind me of the same height, if not taller, and I'm almost 6'2". With it all the way back, I can still get back there comfortably at 6'2". So there's a pretty good stereo system in here. It's 900 watts. It's by a company called Lexicon. Sounds good. Sounds pretty good. There's also a HUD. There's ACC, or adaptive cruise control, and it works perfectly. The car will come to a complete stop in traffic. To get it going again, you just push the plus up button on the steering wheel. So check this out. Is this not a BMW gear selector? So people will immediately compare the K900 to what? And those largely are the BMW 7 Series and the Audi A8, and there's a few others in Lexus and so forth. But I've driven the A8 and I've driven the 7 Series. So in terms of space, they're very comparable. I think there's probably a small variation, but you've got a giant trunk, you've got a ton of space in the back, and that's very much like the 7 Series, and that's very much like the A8. Is this a car I would buy or somebody really will buy? I mean, there's always the consideration, is it a Kia? But I think you've got to take a step back and consider some factors. For the money, this is a great buy for this segment. $65,000 all in, you get a V8, 420 horsepower. If you wanted to be in an A8 or a BMW with the comparable setup, you're probably going to be well north of $90,000. As a value buy at that upper echelon, this is it. This is way more than you'll get in one of those. Is it as good as another car on the same segment, like an Audi or BMW? No. Does it have the same prestige? No. But you get way more for your money in the K900. That's Kia's all-new 2015 K900. If you can, please subscribe here. And why? Because we're going to have Mercedes E63, a 500 horsepower monster in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that.